So today we're going to look at a pen actually that I'm a little surprised that I haven't done a video on before. I think it's appeared in many videos, but I haven't actually talked about it specifically. And it is a Lamy, of course, as you see. There's the Lamy 2000, Lamy All-Star. I haven't done a video on that. Lami Studio. Haven't done a video on that. But the one we're doing is the Lamy Safari. So, I'm going to move these out of the way and we'll talk about those a little bit. But this is the Lamy Safari, and it's one of those pens. Somebody will ask me sometimes what they think is what I might suggest as a starter pen, and this is one of the ones I mention. I usually mention 3 or 4 pens, but this is always one that I suggest. And the reason being, it's a good price to start off with. It's a well-made pen, and it comes in a large variety of colors. You can also get a number of different nib sizes for it too, and I believe this one is a medium, and it's candy apple green, and that was a limited edition color from a number of years back. Can't off the top of my head recall what year, but yeah. So Lamy usually comes out with 1 or 2 new colors a year. So this is probably from about 7 or 8 years ago, and it's a pull cap to begin with, but and it has a metal wire spring clip. It's not spring clip, but it's fairly springy actually, and it's fairly solidly made. It has an ink window, and it has a flat cut surface on the top. It's not a completely round barrel, and as you can see, the Lamy name is right here on the end of the barrel. Plain finial. It's a pull cap, as I said, and it posts quite nicely. And when we look at it, we're going to talk about the thing that divides a lot of opinions about the Lamy. And the first thing you'll notice is the unusual triangular shaped grip section here. And that is designed to encourage you to hold the pen in a proper manner, or what is assumed to be a proper manner. Some people don't like it. They find it uncomfortable. I personally don't mind it. I find it quite comfortable. Your fingers nestle close to the nib, and as you can see, it sort of cuts back here, and your fingertips sort of go right in here, and it fits quite nicely. Now, I'm not going to show you this, but the nice thing too about Lamy is the nibs are actually fairly interchangeable. You can, since this is inked, I'm not going to get into it, but the nib can be pulled out fairly straightforwardly and replaced with another nib fairly easily. That's always a nice feature in a pen, and a lot of pens do that. But so you might have a Safari with a fine nib, but you might also have a couple other nibs that you like to swap out. You can even get a gold nib to put on this, and it looks very similar. It's just 14 karat gold, and I don't have that, of course, and but it's kind of fun that they do that. I like to match my inks, and the ink I put in this pen is Noodler, eel green cactus, I believe it is. And if you look at the one of the fun things about Noodlers is the design on the labels. It's very unnecessarily ornate, but I like the labels a lot. Very pretty. And as I said, I have a green ink in it, and I like to match them up. So I'm just going to do a quick writing sample. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now, this is actually one thing about the Safari is it's a fairly dry pen. That also could be the ink, I'm not too sure. It's not a gusher by any means, but it has a nice steady flow. There's no line variation in this pen at all. It's a stiff steel nib, but it's solid writer, and it's it's the kind of pen that you toss in your pocket or a bag and you carry around, and if you drop it, you don't lose it. You don't lose a lot of money to begin with. So it's a nice carry pen, and it's a solid workhorse of a pen. And now it is one of those pens I recommend. If somebody asks me what's a good starter pen, I always say the Lamy Safari. Another pen I often say is the Pilot Metropolitan or the TWSBI Echo. All of these are roughly the same price. These two are probably very close in price. This is a little bit more expensive. The great thing about the TWSBI is you have the piston filler, and it holds a whole barrel of ink. And if you're a student or something like that, this thing will carry a ton of ink, and you can write pages and pages and pages, and you always know how much ink you have. The Safari has a little ink window, and as you write pages, you can see if your ink is going down. Not exactly the easiest to see into, but it works, right? Pilot Metropolitan probably has the nicer nib. That's the one thing about Pilot. From the lowest end pens to the higher end, they have superb nibs. Lamy 2000, the Lamy nibs, I've never had a problem with. Some people have said they've, found them scratchy, but it's relatively easy to smooth them out, and I've never had a problem with Lamy nibs. I've been lucky, very lucky, and I've never got a dud. So yes. Now it's comparable. If you look at it, these are these are Lamys on different price ranges. There actually is less expensive Lamys, and there's even a child Lamy called the ABC for little kids. And this is aimed more at a teenager or a youth, or to adults. Lots of adults love these too. And so this is the Safari, and the next one here is essentially the same pen, only this one is made of aluminum, and it's called the Lamy All-Star, and it's essentially the same. It's just a bit higher quality material, and it's a bit more expensive. This is the Lami Studio, and this is one of my favorite pens right here, the Lamy 2000, which is a higher end pen. So the great thing about Lamy is they cover a large selection of prices and entry points, and it's a German-made company, very well machined, very well put together, nice nibs, great nibs, and a good value. So anyway, I hope you like this video, and if you do, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, maybe you'd like to subscribe. I'm always sort of stuttering my way through pen reviews or introductions, more likely, and it's fun to do. So anyway, I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye bye.